Hello, this is a Peripheral error devlog about the custom outline shader I've made for the game to give the environment its unique style that we were after, going for that kind of cyberspace look, and also to give more um, easy um, kind of decoration to the game, as we didn't want to texture a lot of the more basic models. The only models that will be textured are things like the collectible and Rykus. Um, Rykus is our enemy. I've gotten so used to calling him by his name that I forget that not everyone knows it. Um, but yeah, basically jumping in. Um, the first thing I did for this was doing a bit of research into outline shader graphs in Unity. Finding these two tutorials. I actually went through the processes that both of these outlined in the engine, making all of these materials and shader graphs, and I found out at the end of both of them that neither of them worked for our use case. One of these can only handle completely smooth objects, which is this one, and one of them can only handle jagged, like simple objects, which we also don't have. So I had to go looking for another tutorial. The tutorial that I found was this URP outline shader tutorial from Michael's Game Lab, and it works perfectly for our use case. It can do a variety of models as he shows here, and it was relatively simple to set up outside of the tedium of messing around in the shader graph like this. Um, Messing around in the shader graph was very new to me. I've never touched this feature of Unity before, and it was really foreign to me. So a lot of what you see here, well, all of what you see here is directly from that tutorial. I do vaguely understand parts of it, like the outline thickness variables, and the fact that these are all calculations to make it look a specific way. I just wouldn't know how to do this myself without the help of the tutorial. So thanks to Michael's Game Lab, I guess. Uh, in the scene itself, basically what this shaded graph does for me is allow me to create materials directly from it that have its properties as done here. And those properties give me these three specific inputs, allowing me to change the outline thickness, the fade distance, so that they fade away at shorter and further distances, and the color of the outline, creating a highly modular base for all the materials in the game. So that if I want this one to be outlined in black, I can make this one outlined in black. Um, it's really simple, honestly, once it's been set up, and it is a absolute game changer for the environment, making it so that once we start getting more models into the engine, they are going to be very easy to get looking how we want them to, which is going to be a really efficient and fun way to do things, because no one on our team is particularly experienced with texturing. So by coming up with this solution, I've kind of cut out that part of the 3D modeling pipeline, which is quite nice. Um, the only issue that I had when implementing them is that the each of the corners, like here, were broken, and weren't full lines. And I found that that was because when these are being imported, they're imported with their normals on import and no smoothing angle. So for all the things that are going to have outlines, I need to calculate for the normals and then put the smoothing angle to 180, which smooths out the models a little bit, but gives me that perfect outline that I'm looking for, and it works perfectly from any distance. The one thing I do know in this section is that the things to do with the scale here, this specific scale with the divide into this multiply, is to make it so that the scale is consistent no matter how far away you are. And such things with the fade distance are also really cool. And honestly, I really want to learn more about the shader graph from the ground up because I quite enjoyed putting this together, even if it was a lot of having faith in the tutorial and trial and error with messing with those different ones. Um, Besides giving the game a unique look, I think this will also be quite nice for our players, because of the heavy fog, which I can actually put on now if I disable that. Oh, I've double clicked it. But because of the heavy fog, it'll help give a lot more. It'll help things to avoid blending into the background, um, so that the player can actually tell what shapes are in front of them, because everything is going to be this kind of same shade of dark grey. It lets them see what is around them quite clearly. I'm really happy about that. That's basically all of the work that needed to be done for the outline shader. It's been a really fun process, and I'm really excited to put this on any more models that we get into the engine. That's the end of the devlog. See you next time.